Morning. We're rolling. It is 11:15 on March 23rd. 7 days from today, 1 week, and I'll be hitting the Appalachian Trail. Egg, stop. All right, stop. All right. Got Charlie's leash. Got Charlie. Egg, you're not coming with us, I'm afraid. Bye, Egg. Sorry. You go next time. Nope. Bye, Egg. Love you. Bye. All right. Heading out. About 45 minutes later than I told my friend John I'd be heading out, but it's all good. Check the recording devices. Odometer's good. Check the MP3 recorder. Make sure that's good. Let's see. Good. All right. Hey, Churcher. Heading out toward the unfinished beltline. Today is an other day, so taking Charlie for a walk with my pack on. Hoping to do somewhere between 10 and 12 miles probably with him. Don't want to exhaust him too much, but he definitely needs a good long walk, and the rain's coming early next week, so I want to make sure I'm able to get him out as much as I can before that time. And I didn't wear the pack yesterday, so that means got to wear it today, and it's feeling slightly heavier. Put a few more things in there, some food. That's pretty much it, but nothing that can't be accommodated for. And I suppose I'll start with going over. Weird, there's like a beer in these people's yard and a bunch of cans of beans on their stoop. Strange. Yesterday was a highly successful day. Letting Charlie do some business. There's quite a few people out right now since it's so nice. So, won't feel super comfortable talking quite yet. I'm not warmed up. And it's hard to warm up when you see people all over the place looking around. So, this might be a bit of an audio tour until we get to the unfinished beltline. Char, come on, this way. I'm sure Charlie's not going to want to be on the unfinished beltline, but he needs it. How's it going? Come on, Char. Charlie. Hey, boy. All right. Pretty much halfway to the unfinished beltline. See how many businesses Charlie needs to do before we get there. All right, Charlie, come on. I'm wearing my new shoes. I keep getting these emails from Strava saying that I need to retire my old shoes because they have like 1,100 miles on them. And I keep sending replies back to the auto reply address, or the do not reply address rather. And I keep saying, fuck off about my shoes. I'll continue to wear them in all of their stinky holy glory. But I actually do think they're starting to hurt my feet because the material is so thin on the bottom. It really does. Like in the, I don't know what you would call that part of the foot. Like right after the toes, if you're going toward the heel, and before the ankle, the tarsals, the metatarsals, the parsals, something like that. That part on the underside of the shoe has a hole in it now. And so rocks and sand get in, and I haven't worn them in that condition since it's been so dry recently in the rain. And so now those shoes really can't be worn in the rain, because if I do wear them then it'll just totally soak my sock and I'll be upset. So I'm wearing my new shoes now because they need to be broken in a little bit more anyway, and because they're more protective for the elements out here, especially starting on the unfinished beltline. Stepping on all this craggly gravel is definitely the thing that makes me realize most just how thin the soles of the shoes have become. So hopefully this feels better today. I don't have my inserts, my Dr. Scholl's plantar fasciitis inserts in these shoes. I don't really think I need them. I think when my feet hurt so bad when I was first switching to walking and running, it was just because it was sort of a bedding in process where basically everything below my hips had to get stronger and more durable or able to accept pain and punishment. Everything seems a lot stronger now. Charlie, come on. Getting your arm all messed up. Come on, boy. Let's go. So, on the unfinished belt line now with these new shoes. Feels good. Marching strong. No one really in front of or behind us. So, let's talk about yesterday. Let's see. What did I started? So I left off doing the dishes and stuff and feeding the dogs. And then I shortly thereafter headed out to meet up with Reed to talk about his trip, and he filled me in on the route that he's going to do. And it is starkly different than what I was originally considering and proposing. And I'm sure we would have made some sort of a compromise if we had had to design it together, but it's wholly alien to what I was thinking about doing. And in fact, it's almost, what would you say, 90-degree perpendicular flip. I mean, he's going north to south for the majority of his route, and I was more interested in the east to west, although north and south did make an appearance. But it was fun meeting with him. I found a tennis ball early on in the walk, and I actually just bounced it for several hours yesterday. Got pretty good at catching it with my left and right hand. Figured out all the physics behind it, like in order to throw it down and be able to catch it, you have to throw it at a slight angle because you're moving. So as you move, you need to compensate for that motion by throwing the ball like slightly ahead of you. Oh damn, some noise. Some people. Let's see what's going on. I've been gutting out this area recently to make way for some Palm City Markets type stuff, I'm sure. Come on, Charlie. Come on, boy. Come on. Come on, Charlie. So yeah, bouncing the ball was interesting. Had to accommodate for the fact that you're moving with the angle. Charlie, what are you doing? You might need to use the bathroom. And so I got pretty good at like throwing the ball down. Eventually I realized too you could put like this weird kind of spin to the ball, and that would also help it come back up and meet your hand. So it was interesting. I felt like I went through like 7 years of familiarity with throwing a ball and all the physics and everything. It's kind of like took tennis lessons when I was much younger, and I remember just being like, wow, this is like way harder than I thought. There's a lot more nuance than appears when you watch someone play tennis. It's not abundantly obvious that they have to be extremely like precise and considerate of the angles that they throw the ball, and it's just interesting. Like, I wonder if people who are good at those kind of sports are intuitively good at physics in general. Probably not, considering mathematics is like basically a language that you have to learn. And even if you do understand physics intuitively, if you haven't learned the terms and like the agreed upon vernacular, you're probably not going to be able to talk about physics any better than someone who wouldn't be familiar with playing with a ball. So, all that to say, I enjoyed playing with the ball. It got me to my destinations faster because I was like slightly running with it. It was fun to listen to music while I did it. It made the whole thing like more compelling, and I focused on it harder. Didn't even really pay attention to where I was or how quickly I was getting there. It was a little dangerous, and I did get rid of the ball toward the end. I just put it on top of a fire hydrant for another person to find, and play with. But going across like driveways and stuff like that and intersections. Charlie, stop. What are you doing, man? He doesn't usually take this much interest in the roadside foliage. He keeps pulling me over though. Anyway, that's a little bit too dangerous because I have to go through an intersection if I'm still playing the ball game without looking. And I look a lot, and so I was pretty uncomfortable yesterday looking less and or not looking at all. So today, no ball, and that might just have been a one and done situation. Charlie, man, what are you doing, dude? No way you have to poop again. Lol, that's like the most unnecessary pee. Like 3 squirts, that's just a territorial pee. That's not even one that was done because of like a necessity to pee. So I don't appreciate that. Anyway, God, this dog, he steals my mind. So met with Reed, he told me about his route. He's going to do the Continental Divide Trail. We just talked about that and Appalachian Trail, and I asked him, I had been wanting to ask him about his route when he was going to start, which he says probably tentatively early May, I think. He might get a partner to go with him, a guy we know named Sam. I also asked him about the crying thing. I was just kind of curious when that came out for him. And he told me that I guess it was like en route to wherever he would end up staying. He didn't really get too specific, which is probably fair enough. But basically things would get like super hard and upsetting, and until he got, I guess what he said was that would be the moment where he would break down. But as soon as he got back into camp, not back into camp, but as soon as he made his way to camp and he was in his tent and everything, he was fine. So interesting. In my mind, I've kind of pictured freaking out at night at camp. Camping is sort of one of the things that I am not looking forward to most necessarily. Come on, Charlie. I'm looking forward to the walking and everything that happens in the daylight, but generally speaking, I think I might end up preferring the daylight more times than not, or at least that's how it is right now. I probably won't care once I get into it a certain degree. I know with my friend Ben, who took me out there last year, he was extremely at home sleeping in the woods, so much so that I sort of initially envied his seeming peace, but I think that's something that you can't help but develop if you spend like 50 days in the woods. That's pretty crazy. Certainly more than I've ever done. And toward the end, I was feeling pretty fine with it, just because I guess when you do anything that's new, there's a period of time where maybe you still don't have your bearings, or you're scared of something, like the lack of control, the lack of familiarity with whatever you're doing. And I guess as soon as you develop that, just like with anything else, you realize that this previously novel situation is actually routine. And the thing about routine is that it's like dependable. And so you sleep a certain amount of nights without any kind of issue occurring from other humans or animals, or just the creaking and cracking of the woods at night. I mean, you would be doing yourself a disservice to continuously have that be an arousing sort of stimuli. You have to become more so numb to it. Otherwise, you'll become exhausted. I guess that's what it is. It's that biological hardware setting that is causing the issue there. Things that are obviously benign, you're never really scared of, I guess. Well, is there such thing as obvious benignity? I don't know about that, actually. Because I was going to say, I'm never afraid of food, but there are people who have certain food phobias. And even beyond that, people who, I don't know, might otherwise not phobically be afraid of food, but like my dad, I don't think he would want to eat trying to think of something weird that I ate in Japan. I don't think he'd want to eat baby octopus. Though it wasn't even really that weird of a thing. It just tasted good. It was like baby octopus on a lollipop stick. Quite delicious. And I think even a delicacy maybe. if nothing else, certainly something that is sought after and not repulsive to the Japanese people. I'm going to check my recording real quick, just in case. You know how it is. Good. 15 minutes in. Got a straggler behind and some people ahead, so it looks like I probably won't be able to pee until Kirkwood, which is cool. I can handle that. But anyway, shuffling back to Reed. We hung out for about an hour and 15 minutes. Then I walked with him back to where he works over in the Peachtree Center area. And then I headed on to Westside Provisions to go ultimately to see Lindsay. But first, I did stop at Earl's Bike Shop because I hadn't seen it for a while. And I know my friend Emery just got back from San Francisco. And although I wasn't sure necessarily that he would be there, he was, so we talked for a bit. He was definitely positively glowing from the experience in San Francisco. He had a great time. It seems like it was a bike wonderland kind of thing. So that was great. Got to talk. Well, I didn't really talk with Earl, but I did shake his hand, which is good. I want to support that dude. He seems cool. And when I get back into biking, perhaps that'll be a new favorite shop. It's also, I think, in the general direction of Wahoo, although it's probably more slightly west than straight down Peachtree. But in any case, talked with Emery for a bit. And then I did make my way over to the Westside Provisions where I saw Lindsay, and we talked for a bit. And that was funny and awkward, and sort of like there's this tension that arises sometimes between the two of us. Coffee definitely, I would say, on my part exacerbates it, and it made an appearance yesterday. It was funny. I don't know who. I guess it's probably me making it happen, but in any case, it's playful, but it's aggravating. Like, not that I'm aggravated, but my playfulness takes on an aggravating, demeanor. Combative and what's the word when you naysaying? I don't know, something like that. So that was cool. We made plans to meet on Monday, and it's supposed to rain all day, I think, Monday. So that should be a fun little walk in the rain. I've sort of missed the rain a little bit, although I'm not mad at the sunshine. It's perfectly clear out right now. Very, very few clouds and extremely blue. I'm walking through a section of the unfinished Beltline right now that has no tree cover, so it's just pure exposure. Charlie, hey boy. I gotta pay attention to him when he starts to look thirsty. Gotta keep him strong and going. So, walked home after seeing Lindsay, making those plans, and stopped by the grocery store, picked up some beer, some cabbage, some beef, some broccoli, some Korean barbecue sauce, some peanut butter. And then my friend John came over for dinner, which was cool. He had texted me about getting a drink last night. And again, I'll say this about myself definitively, but I have a pathological aversion to going out to eat. It's just so expensive and not worth it. Having to display yourself in public and I don't know. It's I don't know. I don't want to people watch while I'm trying to eat food. I don't mind so much doing that when I drink a cup of coffee, but something about eating food, I don't know. It's not really like this, but it is kind of eating is sort of an intimate activity a little bit. So being out, it's just kind of disturbs the intimacy a bit. I mean, that's not even the main reason why I don't want to go out to eat. That's really just because of the price. I'm repulsed by the idea of a $5 beer. $5 beer. It's $8.99 on sale at Kroger to get a 6-pack of Hopsecutioner. And if I drank all of those, I'd probably die. And you're telling me that a lethal dose of alcohol versus a single unit of alcohol is a difference of $3? What? The per unit volume breakdown of that is unacceptable. So I hate to do it. And I did want to see John, but I didn't want to go out anywhere. So the best compromise seemed to be to suggest that he come over and eat dinner at my place, because I was already planning on making food and had some pretty good success with this beef broccoli thing I made the other night, and got some notes from Erica on it, particularly that the beef was too dry. So with that in mind, I went ahead and made a really, really, really good dinner, and we all three ate various portions of it. The cabbage was good too. I was kind of worried that the cabbage might not be cooked enough and that it would be a little bit too crunchy, but I cooked it perfectly along with the broccoli. I added some kimchi radishes to it, so it had a little bit of that kimchi flair, which is what I was going for anyway. And the whole thing was delicious. Had some white jasmine rice with it, and that really helped to complement the extreme flavors of the other things. So overall, very well balanced meal. Fun to have. It was fun to have John there while I made it, and he even stepped up and did one of the most gentlemanly things I've ever seen, and did the dishes. I have had very few people over, but I don't think I've ever had any friends over who did the dishes. But I've made dinner for very few people, so that also makes sense. So that was cool. John and I hung out, drank beer and tea, and talked and caught up for a bit. We hadn't seen each other for a long time, so there was some information to fill us in each other on. And we might even meet up with him again today for a cup of coffee, which would be cool. I'm kind of thinking Aurora would be a good place to do it, since I have Charlie and they have an outdoor patio. Seems like a natural kind of fit, unless they don't let dogs out there, which that'd be a problem, but we figure it out. So that's on the agenda for today as we make our way vaguely north. And yeah, it was a good day. I guess I can't really get too much more specific details-wise with what was specifically talked about with each person, just because how interesting could that possibly be? But also, I was really in the moment yesterday thinking, oh man, this is going to be so great to talk about tomorrow. But here I am now, and it's like, oh, well, not today, but probably soon. Yeah. Thank you. You too. Now that I think about it, she might have been referring to the Appalachian Trail. But the person I was just talking to was like 20 feet above me, so that would have been a hard conversation to have with somebody else. Damn, I could actually pee now. Let me see if it's safe. Looks pretty safe. Alright, I'm gonna chance it. Go over here to pee real quick. I don't have much time to do this. But yeah, I was super in the moment yesterday, excited about what I was hearing and seeing in front of me, but I didn't record any of it, so a secondhand experience like that, not the most compelling stuff in the world. Alright, pee complete. Perfect. Charlie, you ready to go? You ready to go? You ready to go? Let me get my belt in. Alright. Success. Success before even hoped for. Charlie, what the heck? Perfect. Perfect. That pee couldn't have come at a better time, and it couldn't have been more successful, for what it's worth. For what it's worth, actually, is becoming a very common go-to phrase for me, and I like it, because it's like this it's like how a base neutralizes an acid, you add that to the end of something that you're saying, and it's just like, it's like saying, this is obviously just my opinion, so don't take anything that I'm saying as prescriptive. Like, that's basically for what it's worth. That's basically what, for what it's worth, is saying. Getting paranoid that I'm getting, it's probably from the water bottle. I keep feeling these little drips of water on my leg, and I thought it was this poop bag that was like maybe leaking, but it's the leg that's right below my water bottle, so most likely it's the water bottle. I'll go with that. Anyway, though, for what it's worth, it's just like, I just like it. It's a qualifier. It'd be interesting in language if there was like a particle or like a phrase, which I guess for what it's worth would suffice to that end, but something that you put at the end of a statement to make it obvious that it was your opinion. I mean, if anyone is self-aware enough, unless you're talking to a scientist or a doctor or a person in their respective field, I mean, I would hope anyone saying anything would be under the understanding, they would be sub-understanding that anything anyone says is an opinion. Pretty much in 99% of the stuff that can be talked about in discourse. How's it going? So, yeah, it's in this day and age with social justice warriors and people not understanding the difference between things said with good or bad intentions. A phrase like "for what it's worth" is really valuable. I really like it, and I've been attaching it to a lot of stuff that I've been saying, and I feel like even just saying it puts me in a more diplomatic mindset, because it's like I'm consciously reaching for this little modifier to place at the end of most of the things I'm saying, and I haven't really used it much in the past. So that conscious exercise of saying, oh, I need to say "for what it's worth" here. I'm like, the Earth is only 5.6 billion years old, and the majority of the evolution that's occurred on the surface of the planet have occurred within the last 3 billion years, because the Earth was basically uninhabitable for 2 billion years or so as the surface, cooled and water in an atmosphere formed because of those cooling processes, I assume. For what it's worth, like, I personally believe that that's sort of the foundation for how everything up to this current day works on this planet. You say something like that to a Christian, someone saying something like that to my mom, for what it's worth, for what it's worth, this is the scientific community's consensus. So if for some reason you don't think that's worth very much, which would be hilarious. How's it going? Charlie, hey boy, come on. If you don't think that's worth much, then I'm acknowledging that by saying as much. So, yeah, that's a fun little practice. Making yourself more diplomatic by adjusting your language seems effective. Who's got the green? Charlie, this way. Crossing over Bill Kennedy and Glenwood. All of the previously attained relaxation has been voided. Looking for a trash can. Charlie. All right, I think I'll go ahead and leave it there. It's 11:44 now. Charlie and I have business to do. I think we're going to basically be headed for Morningside Park. That should approximately make us have a 12-mile day, and then maybe meet up with John sometime after that at Aurora on our way back. So yeah, time for some music. Charlie.